Is this another cold open?
Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the way we roll now, right?
I guess so.
So, how you doing, Mr. Bean?
Woo. I know usually our shows start with either me going, woo, what a week of wrestling, or, but honestly, I don't know if it's because they set the bar so low after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or if because it was genuinely a good pair of go-home shows, but I got to say, they came out swinging on fire.
Yeah, no, this was, I think my buddy Shane said that this, because I tuned into Raw a bit late, and I said, is this going to be another just absolute snooze fest? And
right.
He said, no, not nearly as bad as last. Like, all right, cool. And I watched it, not as bad as the last 2 weeks.
It's true.
Sad days when that's when that's good news. Not as bad.
Well, like I've told you before, I've been there in the 18 years since I've come back in 2000.
Yes, sir.
So there are times when Raw, at the very least, is very snoozeworthy. There have been times when SmackDown was snoozeworthy, but I got to say, ever since they went to SmackDown Live, it is the show that I got to see every week.
It's so much better. Yeah, just the format, the presentation, the way they roll, everything about it's better. You know, and for how slow this last month or so has been, I think the pay-per-view we got coming up, TLC, looks like a good card. That's
another one of those things where it's like, I can't tell if they've set the bar so low that almost anything will impress me on Sunday.
Could be.
But there are, once again, there are at least somewhere between 2 and 5 matches that I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. Absolutely want to see that. Now, granted, there's a couple of matches that I'm totally tuned out for.
Yeah, there's some that I would have guessed 6 months ago I would have been excited about, and now I'm a little sketchy. And, and then the cruiserweights are such a weird anomaly, right? Because they end up being typically the best wrestling match of the night. Right. It's a night of sports entertainment, so it sort of feels out of place in some ways. And I still don't ever follow the 205 Live product. Right. I just know they're going to put on a great performance.
Yeah, it's a bunch of it's like 8 or 10 really good workers that don't get a lot of camera time on the main roster for us to be invested in their character whatsoever.
Now, what did you think of Mustafa Ali popping up to face Daniel Bryan to open SmackDown this week? Do you think that's sort of a reward for at least going on the tours, putting in the time, even if they're not getting a huge bump over at 205 Live? At least there's some recognition from the company that, hey, you've been doing the work, here's a little spotlight for you. Or is it just they needed someone to do a job?
It's absolutely an anomaly. Definitely out of left field. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of build-up, even like on Twitter or anything like that this was going to be a thing. But I joked when I saw it happening right at the top of the show that maybe they just wanted somebody about Daniel Bryan's size for him to pick on.
Could be, and he was able to. I mean, it was a hefty match to start the SmackDown.
And if I was Mustafa Ali, I would have been terrified to be in that match, because nobody wants to be the guy that puts Daniel Bryan on the shelf forever.
Oh yeah, if you get a spotlight match and you accidentally scramble his eggs, that's a bad problem.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure Daniel had backstage told Mustafa, "It's like, look, dude, come at me. Hit me with everything you would hit anybody else with."
Daniel's clearly not worried. He's the person least worried about his brain of all the people involved in WWE.
Right. Speaking of somebody being cleared by doctors, did you hear Ric Flair said something about the fact that he's cleared to take bumps?
Oh, good Lord, no. No,
I don't know that anybody wants that.
I saw someone interviewing. He and Hogan were doing some kind of promotional, little mini tour in Florida or some such. And one of the YouTube interview guys asked him about why did we never see a Flair Hogan match?
Right.
Flair was promoting. He was like, hey, if we could find someone to put it on, we could do this still.
Oh my God.
Hogan's with WWE. Perhaps how about The Rock? Flair, Hogan, and Triple H, The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels in a Royal Rumble.
It's a Grampy Battle Royal.
Yes.
They've upped the ante from our Grampy Battle from a few months ago.
Set up a table with some oatmeal and prune juice, and they fight over who gets to have it. It'll be outstanding. Some HGH.
The prune juice title. Only one step away from the Swedish Fish title.
Yes, one step down, I might add.
Are we putting the Swedish Fish title on the line for TLC?
That's...
Am I being forced to put the TLC?
I don't think you're being forced to. I think that's really your call, sir.
All right. Well, I'll be a fighing champion.
Okay.
I'll put the Swedish Fish title on the line.
I have my card all printed out and ready to roll. So if you're willing to put it on the line, I'm ready to reel that line in, sir.
I'm willing to make it a open challenge, I guess.
Ooh, nice.
For to send us into the holiday season.
Okay.
Anybody, somebody for Christmas may in fact dethrone me as the two-time Swedish Fish champion.
Outstanding. So yeah,
secretly I'm willing to put it up because I want to be the 5-time Swedish Fish champion.
Totally understand.
Oh man, so we've got a lot to get to this week. Like I said, we had 2 very solid go-home shows well.
We got to play the song.
Okay.
The following contest scheduled for One Fall is for the NXT Championship.
I got the gift of gab and the gift of jab, and I'll put that lazy eye right back to work.
Any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance.
That's Luke Gallows there on the right. That's Carl Anderson. Anderson and Gallows are here.
Look at Nia having a little fun, sending a message to the entire women's division.
Delete! 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 Delete!
Oh, really? I'm not allowed in your little huddle?
No, sir.
Really?
No.
You know what? Big E, you just made the list!
Oh, no. Yes!
Okay, that was the song.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we need that song. We need to get pumped. We need to get jacked. I also need to get Nia Jax blown on a microphone so we can add it to the song.
Yeah, and it'd probably be best if we moved Enzo along. That's my thoughts on the match.
Enzo,
sadly, even in Mr. Chin.
Yeah, no Chin. Can't remember his name. James Ellsworth
Ellsworth
might need to be removed from the.
Some problematic.
We'll update that song one of these days, for sure. But yeah, we got 2 solid go home shows. We'll do the prediction scorecard stuff. And we even have kind of a new feature on the show.
Yes, we asked some people out there if they wanted to have us watch any matches in particular.
Yeah, after a couple of weeks of kind of a bump kiss raw, we were like, all right, look, what if you guys on the One Fall Show Facebook page or even on the Twitter recommend us a match, and we'll pick a match once a week, and like a classic match, like whatever match you want us to watch, whether you're like, this match is horrible, watch this, or you're like, this is one of the greatest matches of all time, watch it, whatever your reasons. And we'll pick one. We'll try and pick one every week and go through it. And this week we'll be talking about NXT Takeover's Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens.
Fight, Owens, fight. Well, spoiler, I miss Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely, watching, this is actually going to be NXT Appreciation Week. I got to say, or NXT Classic Appreciation Week should be more apt, because not only do we have that, but we will talk about the return of Prince Pretty to NXT this week.
So the crowd went wild.
Absolutely. Where do you want to start, man?
Let's roll through Raw.
All right.
What happened over there that you appreciated?
I have questions for you.
Okay, good.
I have questions for you. The show opened with Seth Rollins telling Baron Corbin that the reason the show has sucked is because of him.
That was so weird.
And while I'm sure a lot of people felt like, yeah, Seth Rollins is telling them the show sucks, I disagree that the show sucks because of Baron Corbin.
Right. Well, I mean, it was so meta, right? Like,
right.
Did Vince McMahon understand that all was directed at him, but that they tagged?
I feel like he does.
I assume he does.
I feel like he, like,
I mean, he
a lot of people
the greatest old carny of all time. But
right.
Is he such an old carny now that he's getting carnied out of his own shoes? I wonder.
No, I think he does. I think he's like purposely kind of dragging his feet for 2 weeks to be like, yeah, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to. The only way that works is if you make some major changes. So does Baron Corbin get knocked off his horse this weekend? That's something we can talk about later. But there's been a lot of rumblings of a certain broken superstar who wants the job.
That's exciting.
I can't imagine that's where this goes, but oh my lord, how much more fun would that be?
That'd be hilariously fun.
I would love it.
Where does this
reasons.
Where does this leave Kurt Angle? Like, are we just reserved to the fact that Kurt Angle is never coming back to the general manager position of Raw? Like, what is we gonna roll him out like the Undertaker just for like Mania and maybe SummerSlam?
That doesn't seem like that's where they were going with him, but who knows?
Yeah,
we haven't seen him in a couple weeks now, right? Was the last time we saw him when he took that beat down?
Yeah, pretty much. When Drew McIntyre beat him down, which Drew McIntyre seems to have the rocket strapped to him, as the phrase goes.
Seems to be. Oh, this is an undercard or a pay-per-view card where I I am not predicting anything happening because I'm just tired of predicting things that don't come to fruition. But it's one that I could, like, legitimately, it makes sense that something weird would happen during a match or two on this card because of this promo we just got to see with Corbin, and how long can they draw this? How long can they draw out the joke of, yes, we're letting the ratings go to hell, but we're going to make a big swerve and turn it around, right?
Right.
Like, how far down does it go before your swerve does absolutely nothing to help your numbers?
Well, and that's the funny thing too, is that during the Monday Night Wars, the ratings were a huge deal now, and I think over the last maybe 3-4 years or something like that, like, the game has absolutely changed. Where, like, ratings are kind of important, but your business model has changed from, like, make sure the ratings are up in TV and then drive them to the pay-per-view to, you know, they have so many different avenues of finance now with the network, and, you know, you've got merchandise, which you've always had, and licensing and all this stuff.
And we saw with this last contract that they signed with Fox that networks TV wants live events. So apparently it doesn't particularly it seems as though Vince is like, well, we're getting huge stacks of money because we're a live event. It's the network's job to figure out how to promote us. Right.
And you would imagine that at some point the networks themselves, whether it be USA or Fox, would probably look at ratings and be like, look, you got to give us something, man.
Well, I mean, the rating slide, I believe that it's been almost a year now that we've been watching these ratings tumbles, and the contract with Fox came like smack dab in the middle, because I remember early on in that process, I kept saying, how they can't just keep trotting Roman out there for these main events, because the ratings are going down and going down and going down. Eventually it has to stop. And then they made the biggest deal of all time with Fox, and the ratings continued to go down. So clearly I have no damn clue how this whole thing works.
If there's ever a better example that the ratings are not a metric that they're measuring their business by, it's probably that.
Yeah. Or the fact that Brock Lesnar is still involved.
Yeah, well. But yeah, Monday Night Raw opening with a promo that led to the end of the night, which was a tables, ladders, and chairs match. I think they said for the first time in 14 or 16 years on Monday Night Raw between Seth Rollins and Baron Corbin, which honestly very exciting.
Yeah, it was not a bad match. I enjoyed it. I saved that one. So I because I've been finding the Raw so mediocre, I decided that, well, this is a potentially great headlining match. I'm going to save it, and I did. And it was not great, is not how I would frame it, but it was certainly good, fun, exciting. It was well done. There was nothing. It didn't fall short of greatness because of any particular fault of its own.
No, not at all.
I think it was enjoyable.
You had two solid performers that went out there to tear the house down, and somewhat succeeded.
I know, like,
on a Monday
based
Night
on the
Raw.
thesis that we can't deprive the fans of getting to see Baron Corbin in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, knowing full well that he's going to just get to stand in the ring for 10 count. On Sunday.
You would imagine that's how this is going to work. But at the same time,
perhaps he faces Kurt Angle showing up at the last minute.
A lot of fun shenanigans in this match too. With we got to see Heath Slater twice.
I like Heath Slater as a ref.
The new Heath Slater, which the first time was when we had the 24-year-old. Mouth of gold.
The 23-year-old piece of gold.
That is it. 23-year-old piece of gold. Leo Rush. Against Elias.
Yeah, that was a fun match. I like watching Leo Rush against the Raw superstars. Now, I believe that this was a match that this storyline probably would have involved Kevin Owens had he have not gotten hurt at the time he did.
That would be fascinating. Can you imagine if Kevin Owens was in the Elias spot where they were
Tom
actively
and Jerry.
They were actively pushing him as a face, even though what he was looking to do was take a man extremely smaller than him and just destroy him in the way Kevin Owens always does.
It would have been very strange, yeah. And I don't think that Kevin Owens could be a face like he changes music to the heavenly chorus and he's coming out in white clothes, right? Like he'd still be the exact same Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Except you're kind of supposed to cheer for him.
Right.
As he pulls a Wile E. Coyote and chases around the roadrunner that is Leo Rush.
Right, much like Becky Lynch, where it's like going to do some awful things, but you guys still love him, so all right. I'm looking through what else. What do you think of that the Ruby Riott Natalia thing? Because over on the Nerd Radio podcast, which this week we covered going into TLC, the rest of the crew not real cool with this Jim the Anvil Neidhart stuff.
Really? Is it upsetting to them?
It's somewhat like, when are we gonna stop doing this?
Oh, people don't understand carnies. Like Jim the Anvil Neidhart is a dead carny. What does a dead carny want? If he could, he would have his body stuffed and rolled into the ring. This is carny culture. This is what happened. Like, by putting our morals on the carny world is so silly. Like, oh, it's so disrespectful. Are you fucking kidding? How much did he disrespect his own life throughout the entirety of it? That's what carnies do. That's what I do.
I did have to point out that we did have the Big Show riding his dad's coffin as the Big Boss Man drove it behind a car. So I mean, this is putting one of those big.
Basically a fat head, right?
That's it. Putting a fat head of Jimmy Anvil Neidhart on a table. That seems pretty tame. And
And I have a feeling that Natalia has been clued into all these things.
What?
She's been smartened up. It's not like they're
kayfabe, motherfucker. My only concern is how do you eventually. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. How do you eventually turn Ruby Riott into a face when she's done all this?
Oh, I mean, you just do.
Yeah,
you just
do.
It's
like everything else. You just do and pretend that, like, whether it's 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years from now, you just pretend that, she never, she never made fun of Natalia's dead dad.
I don't know how it happened, but it do.
I don't know that there was very much else on Raw besides Nia Jax delivering another lame-ass promo and then screaming in the middle of it. So I guess that's her thing.
At least it's a thing. It's something to work off of. I missed it. I fast-forwarded. That was the only moment of Raw I fast-forwarded through. I said, I'm not out. Fool me twice.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm not doing this. Not doing this. I mean, we could go over, details. And oh, I almost forgot. Fucking the end of the first hour, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable.
Yeah. Boy, who would have thought? I thought that was a 2-week program, and now they're the tag team.
Now they're the champs.
The champs. So, hey, good for them. I do like Chad Gable going to the blue sequin skivvies and headband.
Yeah, for sure.
Codifying the team a little bit.
Yeah, let's unify the team at least in look.
If this was a situation where the team was able to get over for a short time and have a legit run, hey, more power to them. Whatever. It's how rare is it that you throw a couple people together and they actually have a decent run? Is that what this is? I don't know. I mean, I'm not that into it, but if they have a great match coming up in this, the next week, then who knows?
It feels a little bit like this is how they separate Drake Maverick from the Authors of Pain.
That would be an interesting decision.
But I also feel like the Authors of Pain absolutely need a mouthpiece.
Yeah, I believe so.
So you're going to have to put somebody else in that role if you're going to separate them.
They don't need it. I think it works to their advantage to have it.
For sure,
right?
Yeah, because you just want to be big hulking monsters.
Yeah, and it allows you to. It allows the big hulking monsters to essentially get beaten, but also win, right? By having that third person who can pull some shenanigans when need be.
Yeah.
Rather than like a Braun, where you had to, for a good long time, always have him win. You had no choice, in order to protect him and keep him strong.
We did find out this week that Drake Maverick definitely has hollow bones, though, because he flew when they threw him out of the ring.
Sure did.
He flew for miles, and it was fascinating. Let's move on to SmackDown.
Okay, let's do it.
Because that's where a lot of the meat and potatoes every week happens.
Good stuff, man.
I know. Opening up with that Daniel Bryan and Mustafa Ali match,
fun
was great stuff, and then him dragging Mustafa as Nigel McGuinness likes to call him.
Yes.
Dragging him up the ramp to give him the cattle mutilation.
Yes, what a creepy name for a move.
I know. It's
forget about that thing.
It's horrifying. But we went from horrifying to hilarious with the rap battle between the Usos and the Bar.
I was definitely on the Bar side when they came out in those sweet matching tracksuits.
Looking like Cesaro was about to go, Nico, my brother.
Yes. And the bucket hat with the.
If there is not an action figure of Sheamus in a bucket hat by this time next year, Mattel has dropped the ball.
I think my favorite part of that, because I did not particularly find it funny. I thought it was a little lame.
It was cringeworthy.
But the fact that the Usos could not hold it together,
not at all,
were cracking up.
Not at all.
That saved the bit.
Yes.
The fact that they were having such a blast, like trying not to shred it.
Yep.
And the Usos, I think the Usos, it's their time to take the titles again and ride the top. I don't know who else.
It's a weird thing going into Sunday because we'll obviously give our predictions in a little bit, but it feels like anybody could win that match. But it also feels like if you take the titles off the bar, what else do you do?
Right. Yeah. It's everything is calcified around in the tag team division. Every other promotion, I love tag teams, but WWE makes it sketchy, and I enjoy them as much as I can. But you have 3 teams here who are all excellent, but you've done nothing to provide anyone else to come up next.
Yeah, there's definitely, once again, you have 3 teams who are obviously the top of the food chain, but then there doesn't seem to be a hungry team right underneath them that you see week in and week out on SmackDown.
Now, ultimately, do we look back and say that was a lame run for tag teams, or do we say, damn, it seemed like it was going on a little bit too long, but if you look at all the high spots, that basically the bar, the New Day versus the Usos, New Day versus the Usos being the highlight of that, was like a great era of tag team wrestling.
I think it lends itself to the fact that SmackDown only has the 2 hours to work with. And let me also say, after saying that, if you take the titles off the bar, what do you do with them? If there's a show where if you take the title off person X, what do you do with them, that I am not worried about, it's SmackDown. SmackDown will find a place for you whether you're a title holder or not, kind of thing. But I think it also lends itself to, while there are you've got Sanity, and as much as we like to joke about it, you've got the Colognes over on SmackDown. You've got a couple other tag teams that I can't think of at the time. I'm sure house shows are just fucking lit.
Yeah, could be.
With that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure, whether it's dark matches or whether it's matches taped for main event or whether it's house shows, I'm sure the tag team division on SmackDown is just fine. It's just that they have 2 hours to fill, and they've got so many large personalities like AJ Styles and Becky Lynch that, we've only got so much time for people.
And if you look at these 3 tag teams, they've all been with the company for a good long time, and they are all really, really good. So it's not as though they have the wrong people at the top.
Yeah,
it's just too top heavy, right? How nice would it be to see the club?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I love the club and completely forgot they're one of the teams that are on SmackDown. Damn it! Once again, there's The Miz and Shane McMahon, where is this story going?
I don't know, but this is turning. It's maybe they're going to eventually face Gable and Rude, because this is going on forever.
Where is this going?
And I love how this dance where the Miz has to explain to him why we get it. You don't have to. Come on, WWE, give us better stories.
I feel like Shane is gonna stick the trophy in a wood shredder in front of the Miz just to get that look of horror.
Right.
But also, you got that sweet thing backstage where the Miz gave him an extremely heartfelt speech and then offered him his hand, and Shane just walked away, and that look of just sadness.
Is there a chance that they're going to try to make the Miz a face? Could that possibly be a thing?
We are going to. Quote me on this.
Okay.
Before Daniel Bryan's title reign is over, we are going to live in a bizarro world where the Miz challenges Daniel Bryan as the face.
Oh, I like
it. And Daniel Bryan is the heel.
Excellent. That
for
makes all
the
sense
title.
In the world. Good call.
I asked a minute ago, where's this going? That is where the Miz is going.
So you think that the whole thing with McMahon is just like a misdirection? Like, hey, look over here.
I think so.
Let Daniel Bryan do his thing, and then we'll slowly
let Daniel Bryan
people come to the realization
get
you already have.
Heel, and then in the meantime soften the Miz to the point that he is almost sympathetic.
Okay, I can dig it. Boy, that would be fun.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Because during the Mixed Match Challenge this week was the last Mixed Match Challenge on Facebook, and the SmackDown match was the Miz and Asuka versus Truth and Carmella.
Oh yes,
and you got to see
Team Awesome.
Yeah, you got to see Miz's kind of one of his last hurrahs as a bad guy with Asuka, which means that I finally got to see what I wanted to see last season, and that's the Miz costing them the match and Asuka turning on him and beating the crap out of him.
Was that good?
It was. Fun? It was worth it.
I'm gonna have to watch that one. Yeah.
I tell you what, the Raw match, which was Jinder and Alicia against Bayley, who, if you'd asked me last week when it was Bayley and Finn Balor, I would have said, man, they're going all the way. But then Finn Balor doesn't show up to work this week, so they have to pair her with Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
well, I guess you're losing.
Yeah, I guess so. Although, who would have thought Jinder and Foxy making it all the way to the end?
Yeah, interesting that they definitely decided to go with two teams that were built this season on Mixed Match Challenge. Two of probably the fun teams that took a lot of losses during the round robin aspect of Mixed Match Challenge to make them the finals. And who would have thought Truth and Carmella were going to be what they are now with the 7-second dance breaks and everything.
I still am expecting for Truth to try to pin Carmella to cap off this
I
whole
hope
tournament
so. That would
capacity
be
at the pay-per-view.
That would be a great callback. That would be a great callback. Absolutely. Plus, can you imagine R-Truth and Carmella both as number 30 in the Royal Rumble? Like, it's silly because number 30 doesn't mean a guaranteed victory. It just means an advantage.
Right, for sure. At least one of them just gets tossed right out, right? Like R-Truth comes in and tries to dance for 7 seconds and then just gets punted.
Right, but R-Truth is like number 30 in the Royal Rumble. It's just like, it's beyond me. Also, were the Vegas Boys the same team that the Miz and Shane lost to a couple of weeks ago?
No, I think they were different.
A couple of different local jobbers.
Enhancement talent. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I think yes. I'm not sure though.
And then once again they end SmackDown with Asuka against Charlotte Flair.
I don't think it's impossible that Asuka wins this thing.
No?
Maybe I'm just reaching like I love to do.
See, because I mean the logistics that we as wrestling fans have come to expect is, and I can point to this week, I can point to a great example of it is Bayley beats Alicia Fox on Monday on Raw, which means they lose on Tuesday when it actually matters in the Mixed Match Challenge. Like Asuka defeats Charlotte Flair, or at least comes out looking real strong at the end of SmackDown, which means she's not going to be the one who wins.
Very fair, very fair. Now, I have a hard time picking who is going to come out of that one.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's impossible that it's Asuka. I think there's some interesting things that you can do between now and Mania if you make that the case.
Right.
And otherwise, why do you put such a fierce competitor in there as the third wheel, right? Like, you could, if they wanted to, add some intrigue from the front office, but still keep the competition tight, you would put somebody a little less gravitas in there. But Asuka looks like she's ready to roll. You
put like a Mandy Rose in there, perhaps, who had her match pulled from SmackDown.
Ooh, is that what happened?
Yeah, I guess that's they were supposed to. She was supposed to have a match with Naomi, and it just didn't happen.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was just a time thing.
Yeah, it was. I was very obviously just a time thing.
Did they announce it on the television that it was coming and then it never did, or was this just something that you read about? I
think they said that it was gonna happen like near the front end of the show, kind of like the Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey thing, and then they were just like, no, we're not doing it now. So all right, I think they in character they blamed it on the Miz making an impromptu match.
That makes sense. And probably Baron Corbin's poor management in some capacity.
I'm sure that bled over from Raw into SmackDown.
Or maybe it's just the pressure that you get when the boss is watching you, which Becky Lynch will one day learn soon.
Yeah, you want to address that real fast?
Just the Becky and Corey Graves have begun to go at it on Twitter a little bit,
right?
Saying Becky took a shot at the Miz, at Corey, who had said something on Mike, and they're going back and forth. But yeah, I thought it was a very interesting move by Corey, not at all backing down from the man and going a little shoot by saying, hey, you're able to get away with what you can because you don't have oversight from Vince, but once you get to a certain level, you're going to hit a glass ceiling, essentially, right?
Right.
So it'll be fun to see where this goes from here. Corey is a professional, so I'm sure he understands that there is no winning for him. I'm interested to see how many shots he can get in before the man either obliterates him or he does something stupid and has to apologize.
Well, yeah. And Corey's kind of, he had that faux feud with Booker T.
Yeah, absolutely. That was amazing.
This is part of the Corey Graves character.
People are getting cranky that he's going after Renee Young and say, he's a bully and he's using these alt-right terms and, look, we're seeing his true color. No, he's a professional carny.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 100% sure that he and Renee are great friends off mic.
For as many times as Corey Graves has to say the right side of history on Monday Night Raw, that is thing, right? Somebody in his ear.
Yes.
That's a catchphrase that they are trying to associate with Baron Corbin. If that's not already a shirt, it will be.
Right.
So, that's not Corey Graves just spouting off, I'm sure.
That like 8 people buy.
Yeah.
God bless the print-on-demand age.
You think Mr. Wolf is one of those 8 people? As
no,
a Baron Corbin fan?
think I don't think he's. I don't believe that he's given up on Baron Corbin or he's not a fan of Baron Corbin. But I don't know that he's as. I probably in the last year have become more of a Corbin fan as he has come down
a little bit less.
to less of a Corbin fan. We're probably pretty close by now. TLC, so man, we've whipped through some stuff. Let's get to that scorecard, but one last thing I want to mention, NXT, Tucker and Otis, Heavy Machinery, came out to confront the Undisputed Era after there was a match with
was it EC3? That's all I saw.
Yes, EC3 versus the old man over there, and the match actually went to a pin. EC3 won, then the beatdown happened with the Undisputed Era, and the Heavy Machinery ran in, no shirts, took their shirts off, came in just jeans and torsos.
What?
Yes.
I thought they wore loincloths everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like
yeah,
He-Man.
No, you're thinking of the War Raiders.
Oh, I
Heavy
am.
Machinery,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, where's the sort of singlet
They got
thing
the singlets, right.
But they came out jeans and skin and just laid the beat down on the Undisputed Era. And that's a little rivalry that's brewing right now. It's a lot of fun.
Why does the Undisputed Era always pick fights with like large white guys, hairy white guys?
I don't know, but the Bikers of Anarchy better watch out because the Undisputed Era is going to come after them one day.
I guess so.
The Undisputed Era said that this is not a prediction; it is undisputed. 2018, they will all be draped in gold. So keep an eye out what's going on there. But you also get to see Otis doing the worm after laying the beat down on the Undisputed Era. That was a lot of fun.
Well, the NXT now has enough titles that they could all be draped in gold. The tag team title, a heavyweight title.
Thought for a minute that
North
US
American
title might end up going back with Prince Pretty, but no such luck.
Yeah, how fun was that, man? Tyler Breeze returning to NXT. The crowd fucking accepting him and chanting Tyler's gorgeous.
Yeah, that was great. That was a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun to see him have to go do the job in a small arena. You kind of would have liked to see him win just as like a payment for sticking with a gimmick that isn't working on the big stage for so long.
No, but I'll tell you what, he hung in there with Ricochet. Like, he did not look like he was a step behind whatsoever.
No, he was really good. He was working some like knees into his insecurities. He really looked. He was in professional wrestling shape despite having been relegated to sports entertainer for a really long time now. So that was good to see. Now if there was a way to get him on tour with NXT, I would love it. I would hate to see him get stuck just only being at Full Sail because he's just been at it for a long time.
Sure.
But man, he's twisting in the wind. But that was a blast. It was a blast. The crowd was so into it. That Tyler's gorgeous. I don't remember that being a chant back in the day.
No, because he was a heel. We were supposed to. He's a heel. We were supposed to hate him, man. So nobody chanted Tyler's gorgeous. He was just really good at being a heel. I don't even remember. I don't think he ever held the title.
No, I don't believe
I think
so.
he was a contender multiple times.
It would have been very briefly if he did. Yeah.
And he was definitely he was a key player when somebody would come in like a Shinsuke Nakamura or something like that. Like the Takeover match that we watched, like the card for that particular match, he fought Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yes, that was the first Takeover in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and honestly, the first Takeover that was outside of Full Sail.
Well, I thought so, but I wasn't sure. And what a fun night. As we were fast forwarding to watch the event that we had been requested.
Yes,
I was like, oh, this would probably be a lot of fun to just sit and watch again.
Yeah, for sure. That's the Bayley Sasha match.
June 2015 now, so 3.5 years now.
Yeah, it feels like it's been longer too.
To me, it feels like it's yesterday.
I was looking at it, like I had to look it up while the match was going on to see like when did this happen, because it feels like it's at least 4, maybe 5 years ago. No, it was only about 3 years ago that like. That summer leading, that was the SummerSlam weekend, as I pointed out at the end of the match.
Very, very end of the whole feed.
Byron saying, SummerSlam's tomorrow! Like somebody in his ear just like, hey, Byron, SummerSlam's tomorrow. What?
Someone handed him a flyer. He overheard someone in the front row. Can't wait for SummerSlam tomorrow. What? SummerSlam's tomorrow! Oh, it was fun.
Oh, it was absolutely fun. Do you want to talk about that now? Or do
no, let's do that at the very, very end.
All right. Well, let's predict our scorecards.
Yes.
I know
Card predictions.
Yeah, you filled yours out. I like to go while we're talking about it.
Okay.
Which might be why my record is as spotty as it is.
No, all of our records are spotty, so I don't know, man.
So as spotty as a Dusty Rhodes, underwear, whatever his singlet.
Well,
it's got polka dots, man. It's spotty.
Okay, no, I understand.
All right, top of the card, Natalya and Ruby Riott. Natalya's got to win this.
Really? So I'm picking your girl Ruby.
I would love to see it, but no. The blow off for this is that Natalya gets Ruby with her some comeuppance, man. Natalya puts Ruby through the Jim Neidhart table.
You think so?
That's the spot, man.
I think so. So I guess you're saying that the table gets smashed.
Of course. You presented that thing exists. Like, Natalya's not gonna like hug that thing and take it home and put it in her home somewhere. No. She used that table and the spirit of her father to beat up the brat that is Ruby Riott.
Now, how does Natalya survive the Riott squad? Do they interfere, or do they just sit back and watch?
No, they have to. It felt really weird to just see Ruby without her girls on Monday night. They got to be a part of this thing. I don't know. I think Natalya maybe it's just a house of fire.
Okay.
And just like takes all of them out in different, it's
that would be fun.
Match.
Natalya has had a good long run to build up that kind of energy to unload it at a big moment like this on a pay-per-view. So I
feel it's a lot like we've talked about Bayley before. Like, if Natalya does not come out guns blazing in this one, she doesn't have guns to blaze.
And speaking of, now this is perhaps a question for later on the card, I don't know, but this is taking place in San Jose, which is Bayley's hometown. She is not on the card. Something interesting to think about.
Hey, maybe her and Sasha are the ones that help out with the Riott Squad.
Something interesting could go off on that.
Absolutely.
one. Match time, I say 7 minutes. I assume this is going to be an early match.
Yeah, you would think it's going to be within the first hour. I'll give him 12.
Okay, cool.
We've also got the Mixed Match Challenge season. I can't say it right. The Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 finals between R-Truth and Carmella versus Jinder and Alicia. I want R-Truth to win this match.
We know this is going to go at least 10 seconds because it's going to require 3 seconds for the ref to count and 7 seconds for them to dance.
For the dance break,
yes. Yeah, so, I believe R-Truth is going to win this one. No, you know what? I think R-Truth believes he's going to win when he pins Carmella. I think they're going to come back full. If you miss on that joke, if you do not execute the call back on that joke, every last person in that writer's room should be fired. I'm sure they thought of it, but if you don't fight for that and make that thing happen, then that's a disaster.
As Jimmy Jacobs said on Twitter, writing 5 hours of live TV every week is fucking hard, man. You can forget that kind of thing.
No, you got to remember canon. Yeah, I'm picking Jinder and Foxy to win this one.
Okay. The pinfall?
I believe Carmella takes the fall, first being pinned by R-Truth and then by Foxy.
No, I'm gonna say that Truth is gonna pin Jinder.
Okay. I would love that. I can't complain with that. The only sad thing is that they get a vacation. Why would you take some of your hottest stars and immediately give them a vacation?
Well, they get a vacation, between now and the Royal Rumble.
So
they're well rested.
They're well rested when they come in number 30. Excellent. Yeah, because none of these 4 characters have been well rested.
All right. So before I officially write this down, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If I say that it says who makes the fall and who takes the fall, if I write in the Truth pins Carmella, do I get points?
No, because unfortunately that's what I started to do.
All right.
But the match can't end on that. So that's why I say it's going to be first a pin of Carmella by Truth and then Foxy.
I call bullshit. I feel that you should get points if Truth actually pins Carmella.
Well, I don't think the ref will count. That's
he
the
probably
problem.
won't. No, he probably won't. As we saw a couple of weeks ago with wasn't Heath Slater? It was what's his nuts with his losing streak.
Oh, Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins trying to fucking pin somebody, and Ember Moon's like, "What are you doing?"
Well, to be fair, Kurt Hawkins forgot the rules.
That's true. The ladder match for this weekend is Elias versus Bobby Lashley, not with Leo on a pole, Leo above the ring, but with a guitar above the ring, which means that when you get the guitar, you are allowed to use it as a weapon.
I still like the idea of Lio Rush suspended above the ring.
Yeah, for sure. And then you can use him as a weapon.
He is obviously a shark cage participant at some point in his career,
Gotta
right?
be. Yeah, it's gotta be. That has to happen. Maybe that's the Kevin Owens match.
Yes. I
We'll
can
see a
that
sweet
happening for
spot
sure.
where he'll catch Leo just like he caught Finn Balor at that takeover. He'll catch Leo as he jumps out of the shark cage and powerbomb the fuck out of him.
I'm picking Elias to win this one.
Yeah, you think so?
I think Bobby, and I picked Bobby to be the first one to touch the guitar. I'm not sure Bobby can climb a ladder. He's so muscle bound. I feel like the ladder would crumple underneath him, and he'd never get to the guitar itself. But I'm picking him to be the first to touch the guitar, but also to be the first to get hit with it.
See, I'm going to go in the opposite direction.
Okay.
I'm going to say Bobby's going to win this match because Elias will get his guitar, but then Leo will get the guitar away from Elias before he can swing it and pass it to Bobby Lashley, who will then smash him with the guitar. Because obviously the way this match works, whoever gets smashed with the guitar loses.
Right.
Like, the ref doesn't count it when you get smashed with a guitar, but if you get hit with a guitar, then the pinfall is...
You think
it's
otherwise?
coming.
Otherwise, the entire premise is just stupid, right?
Right.
If it is not already.
However, I love that on the card here you can pick pin, submission, count out, or disqualification. I would like to say that if Ronda Rousey was in this match, she would smash Elias with the guitar and then go for the armbar because she obviously has no idea that you can also get pinfalls, countouts, and disqualifications.
Right. Yeah,
in
she's
professional
only
wrestling.
aware of the one.
She's got a laser focus on that armbar.
Fair. I mean, I would too if I had one of the greatest arm bars in the entire world, Mr. Bean.
She's been armbarring people since she was a small child, as far as we're supposed to believe. Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre could be a sleeper match.
Oh man, I think Drew Mac wins. I think I think that Vince McMahon's entire play with Finn Balor is that he's going to make it look like he's setting him up for a big face move for his entire career, and then he never actually gets to blow off any of the feuds. He just gets beaten forever. Like people say, you've said earlier, previous episodes, Drew McIntyre with the rocket strap.
Yep.
I think he wins this one by a pin. I believe there's no interference by Ziggler, and I am sad.
We are on the same page.
Hopefully,
on every one of
we're
those.
wrong, and he comes out as the demon
and
just lays the smackdown on him. But,
Here's a match that I am not interested in the least. The chairs match, the match where a chair is legal, features Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. I don't care.
Understood. Yeah, I'm picking Orton, pin, Mysterio, 8. That's my rundown. I enjoy watching Rey Mysterio. I think this will actually be a pretty good match. I'm with you in terms of Orton has just exhausted me. I think there's a slight chance that Orton has exhausted me to the point that I'm going to become a little more interested in him. That seems to be a thing with me, where Orton, every once in a while, I get so lulled out of interest in him, where one day I just go, hey, that was a pretty good match. I think I'm going to follow Orton for a little while. See if he and he never really does. He's always like a, he's like a 10 among the universe. Anywhere he goes, he's just wildly popular. For me, he's always hovering between like a 4 and a 6.
I feel that.
Sometimes I like him a little more than
I think the last time I went to a SmackDown here in Detroit and Orton's music hit, I got up and got a beer. I don't even remember who he was fighting, but I don't remember what the feud was at the time, but I remember going, well, I don't need to see this.
I thought you were going to say you inexplicably found yourself opening a Monster Energy drink that you didn't even know you had.
No, thank goodness. Well, we'll go from that match to a match that, like we were saying before, is probably the best wrestling you may see all night, and that's the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, I'm just randomly picking Cedric 5.
Yeah. All right.
Hoping that it's going to be another great match. I mean, they pretty much stole the show in the
Survivor
Down
Series
Under one, I think, right?
Or the Showdown.
The Showdown.
The Superstars.
There was another great match that I thought was actually slightly better, but I think the majority of people felt that was the match of the night, and I wonder if that's going to get some match of the year contention.
It's funny predicting anything that happens on the Cruiserweight show because neither of us watch it.
That's the thing. I have no idea. Yeah, it's just
an absolute crapshoot.
I'm just writing down numbers and names at that point. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there are certain times where you're like, well, understanding at least how long someone's held the belt, you can kind of speculate on what the landscape might be.
Right.
I have no idea. Right.
Yeah, like I look at it, I was like, why would you take the belt off Buddy Murphy? And then I stop and think to myself, I was like,
why would you put it on him in the first place?
I don't.
Why is he even employed here? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't have any logic to back up any of my picks when it comes to the Cruiserweights.
No, hopefully it's a great match and good for them.
All right, do you think Braun Strowman shows up?
Yeah, I'm guessing he shows up but doesn't wrestle. It's just my random speculation here. Do you think this has been a big work? I mean, certainly I could see a situation where you got elbow surgery, but you could still perform in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can see him coming out with a heavily wrapped elbow, and they just, maybe takes a chair or two to that heavily wrapped elbow, and then, and then Baron still wins the match because Braun is half a monster at this point.
Yeah, I'm picking this as a Corbin with the forfeit that he's been predicting, but I tend to think that someone else shows up and somehow, some way gets to face him in this match. Maybe we see a Kurt Angle. Who else? Are there any other candidates to face Corbin lying in the wings right now?
The Conquistador?
Yes, the Conquistador
possibly coming out.
But who knows? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Baron Corbin wins probably in a pin. Like I said, I think there's.
Do you think he does square off with Strowman?
Yeah, I think Strowman, doesn't. He's a one-armed man in an ass-kicking contest, so he can't really do all of his power moves that he's used to doing. And Baron just, because it's a TLC match, he can hit him with a table, or he can hit him with a ladder or something like that.
I can't complain about that. If for some reason there was a Baron Corbin squash moment, it would almost guarantee something interesting happening in the next week or two at Raw.
Yeah.
At least by my theory. But, for some reason, my story math doesn't ever seem to add up to their story math.
Here's the real question. Does Heath Slater officiate that match?
I believe so.
I think so. I think Heath Slater becomes Baron Corbin's official referee.
I know. Do you think that we're going to see an eventual heel turn from Slater, or is this a way to get him on a face arc? You know what I'm saying?
I think we're supposed to.
We've already seen him sell out in the first match. He tipped over the ladder that Rollins was climbing, and then he sort of apologized and got the super kick, and that was the last we saw of him, right? I mean, he had to do the count, but that was the last interference with the match.
I think we're supposed to start this story feeling sorry for Heath Slater because he's doing, things that he doesn't want to be doing as far as the job's concerned.
He's put in a bad place.
But I think it leads to him inevitably getting that really strong moment where the camera's behind him and he kind of turns and he's got that smirk on his face, like, I've been on board with this the whole time.
So you think he's a Corbin man?
Yeah,
and it's not going to be. He's not rebelling against Corbin on the side. Interesting. I think it's a really fun wrinkle to put in this storyline.
Right.
Even if it doesn't play out in a big way. Right. Even if this is a Mizdow situation where we see him get to do this ref thing and gets that one moment where he makes his decision, and those of us who are invested in the long story get to go, interesting.
Right.
That would still be that's a fun wrinkle in Corbin's otherwise sort of overly drawn out storylines, right? And so you think Corbin shows up Monday as the official general manager of Monday Night Raw?
I guess so. I would think that this is, as much as Seth Rollins would like you to believe the reason Raw sucks is because of Baron Corbin. I think the Baron Corbin managerial role is a huge success. I think this is the niche he was missing.
He's doing great in this. Now, what I would like to see happen is I would like to see him lose and then get the mic and say, "Do you idiots realize this is Vince McMahon's fault? I'm challenging Vince McMahon to a WrestleMania battle."
I would be on board with that.
Okay, good.
I would like to see that. I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
but I would like to see that. That would be a lot of fun. We should program that into WWE 2K 19 or whichever game we're currently playing.
Right.
We talked about this when we talked about SmackDown, the tag team championships going down. You feel the Bars not winning this?
I'm picking the Usos. I think it's their time to ride the crest again. It seems like we're going to be just trading between the Usos and the New Day until one of them retires.
Yeah.
Or somebody who respects tag teams a little more gets involved in the storytelling. That's where I'm going. Usos on a pin. Jay over Cesaro with Xavier playing the trombone.
Well, okay. Which member of the New Day? So you believe Xavier will not be a part of this?
Correct.
Match?
Yes. Although at this point it's a shot in the dark, right? I mean, we see every different combination, and
I love that. Like, you never know now with the New Day, because when they started, Xavier was always on the outside, and over the last, I'd say, year or two, they've made sure to do every combination possible.
And they're all excellent.
It's so much fun.
They are still so good. Now I wonder if on the side, if Kofi is learning to play an instrument so that he can eventually take over the full-time role if he has to leave the ring.
Somebody on Twitter took video when the Usos were coming down to the ring on Tuesday of the New Day in the ring, and Kofi was just dancing up a fucking storm. Xavier retweeted it, so if you follow Xavier Woods PhD on Twitter, definitely go back through his timeline and find it, because it's fucking hilarious, man. I think I retweeted it and said the bromance between the New Day and the Usos is like one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, they have so much fun.
In fact, I feel like the Bar loses this match and then comes out on Tuesday and says, well, it wasn't fair, you guys were obviously in cahoots,
right? Yeah, they are having a hard time maintaining their keeping the wraps on their
the fact that they're just all friends.
Their big bromance. Nia over Seth and Dean. Seth and Dean, which is another match that like I hope the payoff is worth the build. I think this is going to be one of those situations where this is step one in a long ass program. Like everyone's going to be waiting for a huge match. Like. We're going to get some kind of shenanigans, some clownery, and I'm going to be stuck with this stupid promo going on for the next 3 months. Well, I guess we're only what, a little over a month from Royal Rumble. Holy cow, time flies, man.
Right.
It's the end of January, right? Royal Rumble. I'll be damned.
Yeah, we also got when it comes to outside the WWE, New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom coming up.
Yes. I don't think that Seth or Dean are going to be appearing on that. Though.
I don't think so. No, not at all.
Maybe the club.
Well, you never know. So who do you pick out of this IC match? Do you think Dean takes it off of Seth?
No, I think that Dean wins, but by some sort of disqualification. So that Seth holds on to it. Yeah,
that sounds appropriate, honestly.
This match stinks of schmazola to me, so that's what I think's going on.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. Dean with a DQ victory, a Dairy Queen victory, if you will.
It didn't ask how long the match goes. I think it's going to go for 184 minutes.
Yeah, it's a Seth Rollins match, so it's a minimum half an hour.
Yes. Okay, now Nia Ronda. Nia. I'm picking Nia. I think they want to catch the lightning in the bottle with that Nia
Ronda Nia thing.
Or
Ronda and Becky.
The Nia Becky first. I think they want Nia wins this thing so that she can go on to go after the man. While Ronda regroups, and then eventually we see them coming at each other.
Right.
That's how I think that's all going to shake out. So I'm picking Nia in a pin. I believe it'll be like 11-minute match. Seems like Ronda's matches go between 10 and 15 minutes. I would assume at some point she'll get a longer match. The last one might have been a little longer than 15.
This is really difficult to predict with both the women's championship matches because we read the rumors that Fox was like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean we don't get Ronda Rousey on SmackDown?
Right.
That's bullshit. We paid you X billion dollars. You better put Ronda Rousey in fucking SmackDown.
Yeah, well, how about read the contract, dummy? You were in the big top when we signed these contracts,
right? But it's on one hand, I agree with you that I think the Becky Lynch story leads to Becky versus Nia, and then Becky versus Ronda Rousey, going up to Mania. But I also feel like you put that on Raw because Raw is your main show and has been forever.
Well, maybe the joke's on Fox, and Ronda ends up leaving the company after her 1 year on the contract, and Becky goes to Raw. Here, you can have Ronda. Fine, Fox, you want Ronda? Here you go.
Yeah.
She leaves, and Becky is like the biggest star in the history of the world.
Right.
The Fox executives get carnied again. Vince McMahon laughs his way to the bank.
I'm gonna pick Ronda Rousey.
Okay, good.
I don't know. It's another one of those. I'm having a hard time kind of logistically making the decision. Are you drowning over there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's bad.
You could hear the glug, glug, glug.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's some good mics, people.
Ronda with a submission, obviously.
Yes.
She only knows one way to win a match. I'll give them 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I say. Okay. Yep.
On the TLC match, the SmackDown Women's match, do you think this ends the show?
It should.
Becky Charlotte. I think,
should.
Yeah, I think everybody probably feels it should.
I think it will. Yes, I think it will. I do believe that is the case because we've seen AJ with the title for many times,
right?
Mid card or second or third from the top. So I would assume again that that's what happens here. Even though Daniel Bryan is the one holding the gold. I'm picking Asuka to win this thing. Now, I guess if this is the final match, that makes me think that there's zero chance that Asuka wins.
Sure.
But man, every time she comes out, the crowd shows how much they still love her. Like, she is somebody who getting pushed down the card and getting absolute crap TV time has not hurt her name value at all. The crowd still loves when she comes out. This is a barn burner.
Yeah.
This is a barn burner. There's three people that the different factions in the crowd genuinely love, and I think that any way this thing goes could be a blast.
I'm going to pick Becky. I'm going with the man.
Good.
For this particular match. I think she's the first one to try and climb a ladder. I think Asuka is the first one to touch the championship, but also the last one to touch.
Okay.
And not actually win the match.
And number of chair shots?
7.
Okay, I'm saying 12. I don't know. This seems like there's been a lot already, so I've upped that some. If Becky holds the title until she decides to step away, that would be fine with me. At this point, I give her everything. If my pick is wrong and Becky continues to hold the strap, I'm certainly not going to be complaining.
How are we going to feel if Charlotte wins?
I think I'm going to personally feel like, okay, cool, this better be set up so that Becky can get that thing back, because otherwise there's going to be some real problems.
Right. That's the thing, too. Like, do you think there's any shenanigans between the Raw and SmackDown women's matches with Becky having a history with Nia and both with Ronda? Do you think Becky interferes in their match or Ronda interferes in the latter's match?
And this could be a situation where perhaps Nia loses her match, but she and Tamina come out during the final match, and then that forces. I could see a situation where Asuka ends up with the title and then a big melee afterwards with a bunch of people that also then requires the other two horsewomen to come out. Boy, wouldn't that be fun? Even if it took from now until WrestleMania to develop, if we got to see all the primary components of Ronda out there, and you're sort of like she'd be in probably no man's land trying to figure out who but then you have the four horsewomen sort of forced into a situation where they're like, oh, we're gonna, after all these strife, are we gonna have to team up?
Right.
At some point you think they're gonna start that, right?
You would hope. You would hope that that's kind of what it's a weird thing, because that's what I think a lot of the smarks especially are expecting the build to be, is the four horsewomen of MMA versus the four horsewomen of NXT.
Mm-hmm. That probably still another whole year away if everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah.
And if Ronda sticks around, who knows?
Because there's it's not out of the question that they would lay the groundwork for that with like 3 weeks before WrestleMania, but at the same time you would hope that the groundwork for that would be laid well in advance.
Right, yeah, it could be 3 years, could be 3 days,
Right. I don't know, in my own personal opinion, you keep Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey apart from each other as long as possible, because Shayna Baszler is going to make Ronda look real bad.
Yeah, there's a bit of that going on. And the other two horsewomen have just entered in NXT. I mean, they're not even getting full matches yet, so that's a ways off. DB versus AJ Styles. Are you looking forward to that match?
I am. I think the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose is the Raw match that has the capability of being match of the night. On the SmackDown side, Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. I mean, the two of the top talents.
Should be fun. Does Daniel Bryan do any mic work during this thing? We've only seen his character now for 2 or 3 weeks, starting to develop, right? Does he?
And I do love in his promo with Mustafa Ali the fact that essentially he wanted to fight him because he drives an SUV.
Right. Yeah. That was, very silly.
I think I could see Daniel Bryan getting on the mic just to yell "fickle" at the crowd, because that's his new thing.
Oh yeah, the fickle thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to sell a lot of fickle T-shirts.
No, probably not.
I wonder where he's going to go from here with that thing. But I picked Daniel Bryan with I picked the DQ again. There's surely not going to be 2 DQs on the night. Probably no DQs on the night. But I think that with 4 near falls and I picked a 22-minute match. I think this one will go a while, but it will be down the card some.
Whereas we know they'll give Seth Rollins more time than we necessarily want. I hope they give Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles as much time as they want.
Yeah. No, I would assume that if you had nobody involved in helping them and you just put them in a room and said, just come up with the greatest match you possibly could, they'd figure out the perfect number of minutes, the perfect number, like they would nail it. The two damn professionals right there.
Yeah, I think I want to see Daniel Bryan continue his run with the title as a bad guy. So
I agree.
I'm going to say I think he might actually get AJ to tap out.
Okay.
I think that would be an interesting thing. And
I think I'm just kind of hoping he kicks him in the dick.
I don't mind it. I'm one of the minority that every time AJ takes a shot in the dick, I'm like, it makes me laugh.
And at this point, it's almost canon, right?
At first we thought it was just Shinsuke Nakamura likes to kick people in the junk.
People are collecting videos on YouTube now saying, hey, look, no, this is a thing.
No, it's AJ just like, hey.
Every match they say, so what do you think about the finish? And AJ's like, can I get kicked in the dick?
What are we going to do for the finish tonight? Well,
kick me in the dick.
Right.
Not another finish. No, I mean right now.
That's why he has so many kids, because he heard that kids like to just like punch you or kick you in the junk.
Right.
And he's like, well, I gotta see if this is true.
Got a lot of dogs that just absolutely come in at crotch level. The wild fetishist.
Oh, how many announce tables we losing?
2.
Yeah, English and Spanish.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna say we're gonna lose an other announce table.
I'm terrible at that whole table thing. I always get it wrong.
All right, unscheduled appearances.
All right, so I'm picking Bailey for sure.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Hometown.
Yeah, you gotta get some Bailey action in there.
Technically, Leo Rush is not listed on. Oh no, it is listed with Leo Rush.
Yeah, no, he's there.
Shrewd.
So maybe they had a tag team match with 4 talents that are nowhere on this card on SmackDown on Tuesday. Rusev and Jeff Hardy, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah.
I think we see any of these guys.
Wow. Again, with that U.S. title just being weird and off the radar.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Ziggles on there. I kind of hope we don't see him. Turns out that flipping him face or heel does not make a difference.
Well, you mentioned earlier Kurt Angle. Maybe Kurt Angle?
Yeah, Kurt Angle's a good choice. I'm gonna guess Kurt Angle.
Right.
I would love to pick the Good Brothers, but I don't see them coming.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Let's see. It seems like, again, I believe that it would be a women's night out if we're going to see some schmozzery.
Right. Somebody like Naomi, who's not on the card.
Yeah, Bailey. I'm picking Naomi's not on. It's too bad, dude. It's a damn shame Naomi's not in the card.
I know, she's one of those, like, she's a super strong talent, and it's just she's kind of lost in the shuffle right now.
Yeah, it seems to me that why don't you have her as coming out with the Usos just so she has screen time, and you can add some fun to those matches by having another like damn great athlete.
Right. I liked
the sidelines.
There was a hot second there where she was coming out with the Usos, kind of in the same way Lita used to come out with the Hardy Boys, and like sometimes she'd get involved.
Yeah, they started to.
And that's cool with me.
Yeah, it seemed like Cody was having a lot of great success with his wife coming out on the Indies. So right around All In is when we were seeing that, and then
for sure
it just petered out. Yeah, I don't know. Rey Mysterio or any, in that case it would be Hardy. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't see Rusev coming out.
Yeah, all 4 of them. Like, unless there's suddenly a pre-show match that we're unaware of, I don't see any of those guys showing up on Sunday, which is sad as fuck because we were so hype about Samoa Joe's promo last week.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say Samoa Joe just for the hell of it.
Yeah, maybe he gives us another PSA.
Something. I think that there could be some situation, because we for a few weeks there we were seeing Lashley, Corbin, and McIntyre were working together, and then that sort of split up. Samoa Joe, I always thought would be a part of that if they ever came together.
Right. Well, and KO as well.
Yeah. Well, KO I don't think is going to show up, sadly.
No.
Although I do hope that when KO comes back, my dream is for. Okay, here we go. A masked figure returns, right? And everyone starts chanting "Ole, ole, ole," and then out comes Fat Sami Zayn.
What?
Yes. And Skinny KO pulls off the hood.
What?
Yes.
KO, much like Dean Ambrose, has been doing a bunch of sit-ups.
Yes, and then immediately like starting week 2, Sammy starts losing weight and KO starts getting fat again.
I don't know if that's really good for either of their health.
I don't care.
You just want your entertainment.
I want to see skinny KO for 1 minute, and then I want to see him return to thick KO again.
All right.
And Sammy's just along for the ride.
All right. Well, we talked it up while we were when we started the show, and we are finally here. We're going to start taking requests.
Speaking of thick KO,
we're going to start taking requests here. If there's a match that you would like us to watch and then talk about here on the One Fall Show, we've already got some strong contenders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got some great suggestions. It's
absolutely.
fun.
I know that Freddie Rakang had a New Japan match that sounded fascinating. That should be in there. Like I said, some strong contenders that we're already going to be picking.
Yeah, I think he wants us to watch Okada Shibata.
Okada and Shibata. That might be next week's match for sure. But jump in on the conversation at the One Fall Show Facebook page. This week, our suggestion comes to us from Brandon. I don't know exactly how to pronounce your last name, and I don't know if you want your last name publicized on our show. So
yeah, Brandon, what up, man?
But hey, Brandon, thanks for recommending Takeover Brooklyn 2015's main event, which was Kevin Owens and Finn Balor in a rematch for the NXT heavyweight title, a ladder match.
First off, let me set the stage here. By the end of the night, I think maybe people were exhausted, but it was a very sign-light crowd. There was one Finn Balor sign that was on someone had made crooked, which must have been a real pain to sit behind that guy with his crooked-ass sign.
Well, that sign also on the back of it was the one that when KO did his entrance said Kevin Owens is still a jerk.
That was an excellent moment, yes.
Which was great.
Besides that, not much signage throughout the match until the very, very end.
Yes.
When some rude ass,
some savage motherfucker in the crowd decides in one of the last camera shots to hold up his sign saying, was it Dana Brooks?
Dana Brooke is legitimately
is awful.
Yeah, legitimately, legitimately bad or legitimately awful. Right. It was harsh.
Yeah, I don't know the Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke fans. We're like, wait, what was Dana Brooke doing at that time?
I don't know if Dana Brooke was even on the card at the time. I think she was. I think Asuka had just come into the company, and her and Emma were being the mean girls to Dana Brooke or to Asuka.
Yeah, she got trashed.
Yeah, so she some rude ass motherfucker at the NXT Brooklyn crowd deciding to trash on Dana Brooke.
And he held that sign through the whole match. It was like you got someone climb the ladder, grabs the title, holds up the title,
up in the lower
like
left-hand corner
himself. He holds up the sign.
Yep.
Oh yeah, by the way, Dana Brooke sucks.
But yeah, that was the card that the match before that was Bayley and Sasha. So that crowd was exhausted, but they still. A great, they were early NXT crowd.
What a great match! Anyone else who did not change their gimmick even a tiny bit in 4 years, I would be so pissed. But I was so happy. Corey Graves, Kevin Owens, the exact same people 4 years ago that they are now.
Well, actually, it's kind of interesting you bring up Corey Graves because he is doing commentary with I can't remember, a guy whose name escapes me.
Byron and the other guy.
But Byron Saxton, and this is pre him being mean to Byron. Like,
yes,
he was not mean to Byron one iota. And this is like,
no, although they clearly were playing opposite. Like they were both the characters they are now. Byron was identical.
Yes. Whereas
tomorrow SummerSlam.
Whereas Corey Graves, not as fiery as he is these days.
He was less snarky, but he was still very much. He kept spitting out facts that Kevin Owens had fed him.
Yes.
Well, Kevin Owens said that was a fluke.
I think this may have been my first exposure to the Demon.
Okay.
And I'd forgotten that the entrance here had 2 or 3 other guys dressed as the Demon. Like once they laid the smoke out, a guy on the left popped up and then went back down in the smoke. And then a second later, a guy that could not have possibly been the guy that was on the left,
right,
like 20 feet away, pops up out of the smoke. So it looked like the Demon was in multiple places.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That entrance is longer than many of Finn Balor's matches on Raw.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That entrance goes on and on, but what a fun match. Although I will say, I've been meaning to ask you this for months, and it just never comes up. I never think of it. Finn Balor has the sling blade.
Okay.
To me, one of the lamest moves in the game.
Really?
Like, to me, I always look at that thing and go, why don't you block that stupid sling blade? What is it doing?
Well, Seth Rollins does it too.
I know. I don't like it there either.
And Jeff Hardy was doing a version of it It was the first time I'd seen something that was like that, because it's essentially like a clothesline that you also kind of loop around them.
Kind of,
while
except for
you're
you're
doing
not
it.
actually hitting them. That's how you're hitting. It's like you're using your arm to like gently touch him on 360 degrees of his head. It's very weird. I do not like that move.
All right.
What are there any moves that you don't that you particularly bug you?
Most of the time, if there's a move I don't like, it's because it looks unsafe.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, you know what? The stun gun.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the stun gun?
No. What is the stun gun?
Hardcore Holly used to do this all the fucking time.
Okay, first off,
You will. He would drape a guy. You drape like his arms and his chest over the ropes,
Okay.
and then you pick up his feet.
Okay.
Okay, so you're standing there,
like a wheelbarrow thing going on.
yeah, a little bit of a wheelbarrow thing, and then you just kick him in the dick.
You hate that move? That sounds like the best move.
I hate it because, first of all, the guy taking it has his arms draped over the rope, so it's not like he can protect himself if you fuck it up.
Okay.
Okay? And secondly, like I said, you're essentially just like kicking him in the dick from behind while you've got his legs roped up, and the ref always lets it go. The ref never looks at it as a low blow. It's always like, nope, caught him right in the breadbasket.
Okay, I'm telling you, my fifth unscheduled person.
Okay.
Hardcore Holly.
Oh no!
I'm hoping runs in to help Daniel Bryan.
Well, if he does, then you'll get a chance to see his awful tribal tattoo he's got now.
Good. But yeah, I'm hoping he can come in and help Daniel Bryan disqualify himself against AJ Styles.
With a kick and did. I'm sure Hardcore Holly would be AJ Styles' favorite opponent.
Oh no!
For all the dick
Personal
kicking.
trainer, quote,
Yeah,
unquote.
For all the dick kicking that he does with the stun gun. Now, which is funny bringing up Hardcore Holly because everyone that listens to this show knows that I'm absolutely I love Scott Steiner.
Who doesn't?
But Scott Steiner and Hardcore Holly are very similar individuals
Yeah, they're
character-wise.
both a little like I would be a little disturbed if they, were filling up the gas tank next to me and tried to strike up conversation.
Right. Hardcore Holly has both the move that I hate the most and the move that I pop for the hardest.
The Alabama Slam?
Alabama Slam! It's such a stupid move. You just wheelbarrow a guy and then throw him. Who's doing that now? I can't fucking remember.
The Alabama Slam?
Yeah.
The McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre's Alabama slamming people.
Yeah, and it looks vicious.
Oh, it does.
I would not want him to Alabama Slam me. I don't know that I'd want anyone to, but Drew McIntyre, it does look very, very powerful. That's a good move for him.
It's fucking Alabama Slam. Yeah, I hate the stun gun. Absolutely. I fucking hate the stun
biggest thing, the most amazing coincidence is that the Alabama Slam was created both in Alabama, USA and Alabama, Scotland within the same year. So no one's exactly sure where it originated.
Who had it 1st? I had no idea. Let's get back to the match, though. Owens and Balor, a lot of fun stuff. Speaking of the sling blade, at some point during the match, Balor takes a ladder to the ankle, and then has to continue to do the coup de grace, which is a jump off thing.
Selling the ankle the whole time.
I am surprised Finn Balor doesn't bust an ankle yearly.
I'm shocked that he doesn't break anyone's ribs.
Just annually.
He now in this particular match, his coup de grace look really great, real smooth. He comes off the ladder in a way that looks really safe. But I remember there was a match. Probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I don't remember the context of the pay-per-view, but he faced AJ Styles, and he came down to win with the coup de grace, and he plunked him without bending his knees. It looked like he didn't fall right. It looked like he just came down full weight on AJ's chest. Now, there was no mention of it. AJ was back the next day.
Yeah.
Everything was copacetic. But I remember when it happened, I was like, ooh, that can't possibly feel good.
That was literally last year at TLC.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the Roman Reigns is sick, Bray Wyatt is sick, we need to replace people. Kurt Angle,
okay.
Kurt Angle wearing the Shield vest with the doofy face, smile on his face.
Good memory, sir. Good memory. Yeah. Now, my favorite spot in this match was Kevin Owens sets up the ladder, pins sort of Finn to the ladder outside of the ring, and keeps like eyeballing it and stepping back up the ramp, stepping back up the ramp, and you're like,
Kevin Owens.
oh my god, he's gonna run up this ladder and like
he's gonna cannonball him or something
in the face or cannonball him up the ladder. You're like, this can't be healthy, this can't be safe. And he runs up to the ladder, trots around, and just sort of slaps him across the face.
That's classic Kevin Owens.
So good.
And how great is it that the crowd just erupts into laughter and applause? Like, you got us.
Yeah, because when you set up a big move like that and you're not going to give a big move, you're like, you dirty bastard, you give me this. But like, Kevin Owens is a professional. He's so good. Yeah. I miss him so much.
That crowd saying like, oh, you got us. You got us. I also, it's fun to watch guys years earlier in their career when they're a little not as seasoned as they are. I have never seen somebody move up a ladder so fast for the finish of a match than Finn Balor hitting the coup de grace and then realizing I got to climb right back up that fucking ladder to get the title. And just like, you know, typically in a ladder match, you get like 20, 25 minutes in, they're climbing like it's a mountain. It's really rough. They're sweaty. They're tired. They've taken a beating and stuff. And Finn's just like, right up the ladder so you can pull that title down.
Yeah. I mean, that guy out in row 3 scrambling for his Dana Brooke sign.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I thought he was going to take longer. Son of a bitch.
Oh, man. That was a great match.
Fantastic match.
That I would love to hang out one day and watch that.
That's got to be
in its entirety.
That's got to be like a top 5 match. I would think.
Of all time,
yeah,
kind of thing. I mean, in terms of when I saw that suggested, my thought was twist my arm. Like I'm real excited to watch that one again, and it did not disappoint. That's for sure. It was a lot of fun.
You brought up you brought up the Finn and AJ match from last year's TLC. That's definitely in my top 3, if not my number 1 match, like my go-to. Oh, you want to know what wrestling's all about? Watch this.
Excellent. Okay, I'll have to check that one out again.
Yeah, because that I remember when that happened. There was a coworker I had at one of the jobs I did, because I worked 2 jobs at the comic store and at the radio station. But there was somebody, I think it was at the comic store, that I was like, no, you got to watch this. This just happened on Sunday, and you got to see this.
Very cool. All right. I can.
So thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for our little trip down memory lane. Maybe that's a chair shot down memory lane. We can call this spot.
Yeah, okay, I can dig it.
Oh, you know what? We almost forgot.
Oh no, what?
Our loser picks.
Oh, we did almost forget that.
Our guys that are not going to make it to WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. Okay. Do you have? You get first pick this week, which is awfully good for me because I'm going to need a few seconds to think about it.
All right. Well, give me a second. Let me go into my Google Drive and I'll pull up the spreadsheet so we can review what our picks have been so far.
Okay.
All right. Give me just
go ahead and do that. I'm going to look.
All right. So last week you picked Rhino, which is a smart pick. Because
he's ostensibly fired.
Right. He did say, I think it was on Twitter or something. There was a WWE.com video where he said he is fulfilling his contractual obligations to the end of the year.
Okay, well, good.
But then he's not sure. I read somewhere that somebody said this might be a move to SmackDown for him. I think both of us are in agreement that if Rhino retires now, that's fine.
Yeah, whatever happens.
He's had a strong career.
I enjoy watching Rhino. I don't feel that there's any I don't see any huge place for him in the next year or two.
However, the last Monday Night Raw for 2018 is here in Detroit.
Sure is.
Which typically they trek out Rhino because he gets a huge pop here. So you would imagine he's either going to be in a dark match or maybe,
just give you a little curtain call. That would be fun.
Give Rhino a little curtain call here in his home city. So, but that won't count because it won't be on TV.
It's like the special Raw on Friday. Wait a minute.
Yeah. That's definitely a break of kayfabe where they're like, Raw is on Friday in Detroit City. And they're like, no, it's not going to be on TV on Friday. Oh, because New Year's is on a Monday. So, you picked Rhino last week, and I picked the Beast, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, it's a very bold pick with Brock Lesnar.
Right, in a little bit of tech. I think I'm not going to go as hard this week. I think I'm going to pick Ranjit Singh.
Okay.
I don't think Ranjit Singh will be at WrestleMania this year.
No, I don't think. I think you are correct.
For whatever his reasons, obviously if the Maharaja was there, then maybe he would be backing him up. But you never know because everyone likes to toss those Singh brothers as hard as possible. Everywhere. Even Bailey during the Mixed Match Challenge this week. Yes. Bailey to Belling, both Singh brothers.
Interesting. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and someone that you mentioned a little earlier. Kurt Hawkins, I don't think is going to be turning around his career in time for WrestleMania.
All right, that's a fair assessment.
Now, by 2020, he could be going after the Universal title, but I think in 2019...
By 2020, his loss record is going to be like in the 300 or 400s. I'm thinking.
One can only hope.
He's the anti-Goldberg. He's the anti-Goldberg.
So if you bring in what was the Goldberg mini-me guy?
Oh, Gilbert.
Gilbert, yeah. So if there's a Gil Hawkins, is he like a giant man?
Maybe.
Like you bring back.
I thought you were going in the direction of if you put Kurt Hawkins against Gilbert, it's like the immovable object versus the.
No, I was going there. Although I always enjoy a good juggernaut blob
Sure.
debate.
Right. All right, man. Well, strong One Fall show this week. Strong week of wrestling. Hopefully, TLC is not a disappointment.
It's one of those situations where I think the bar has settled to a level that this event can easily overcome. It's Christmas season. Things are busy. We're all sort of running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I double booked the night, completely forgot about it. So
most of us forgot TLC was happening.
Yeah, and it turns out that looking at the card, I think it's going to be a good one. And for sure, that main event, the Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Asuka match is the one that I need to see. Whether the WWE understands that or not, I don't know. But that's what I'm very excited to be seeing. And there's plenty of other matches on there that I think could easily satisfy. So hopefully it's better than the TV program has been for this time.
All right. Well, follow us on our Facebook page at The One Fall Show. Follow us on Twitter as well at The One Fall Show.
One Fall Show. I'm at Shawnee Constant. Yeah.
Yep. Shawnee Constant has his, you've got your Talk Horror With Me podcast.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. We're enjoying that a lot.
I am a huge fan. I'm
Thank
digging
you.
it.
Thank
and
you.
I know you put up the Terrifier episode this week, so I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Yeah,
What else?
no, you are not a fan of Terror. This is a divisive film. The next one we've got coming up for you, I think, is today. Is going to be Behind the Mask.
Behind the Mask. Okay, I am a fan of that one. So.
Excellent. Good.
Strong week of Talk Horror to me. As I mentioned earlier, the this week's Nerd Radio covers a little bit of wrestling. We also talk about the Avengers trailer and the Game Awards, the video game awards that happened last week.
Excellent. Anything big coming from them Game Awards that you want to touch on?
If you're a listener of Nerd Radio, then you understand that I purchased a Nintendo Switch this summer, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Okay. They announced that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming to the Switch.
Ooh, interesting. Is that an exclusive?
Yeah, I guess.
I may have to get a Switch. I love them Ultimate Alliance games.
Yeah, they were super fun. So I'm super pumped for that. I got Super Smash Brothers and have been playing that. And they announced that one of the characters from Persona 5, which is another game that I'm super into.
All right, that's some Nerd Radio stuff.
There you go.
Going too deep.
Text Nerd to 4WRAF. Get it sent right to your phone. Follow it on. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Spotify. We're on Podbean, which is where you can also get Talk Horror to Me.
Yeah.
Podbean and iTunes.
I got to get us onto Spotify. I keep forgetting that. That's something new.
Yep. And then of course you got this thing. Hit us up on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. Give us a review.
Please.
Even if you want to give us even if you hate the show that you just listened to, let us know why.
Absolutely. So Mr. Bean has been doing the editing on the show. We've been trying to keep it snappier. We've been trying to keep it less formulaic. We've been adding some new things. We've been bouncing around instead of just going down the list. What was on A, B, C, D.
Right.
I think we're putting on a lot better show.
We understand that there are a multitude of people essentially telling you what happened on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
We appreciate that you enjoy our discussion of what happened on Raw and SmackDown,
immensely.
But we also want to give you the kind of show you want to hear.
Yes.
So hit us up on the social media, give us reviews on iTunes, let us know.
Yeah, give us suggestions on things to try.
What do you want the One Fall Show to be? If you want us to literally wrestle each other while the mics are on during the One Fall Show, I'm game.
Well, this...
I think
steamy in here.
I think you're going to beat me. I don't think I got the upper body strength to take you.
I don't know, man.
But I'm game.
My nervous system is pretty shot.
It could be absolutely terrible.
Good times, sir. Good times. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, have fun, be safe, and don't fall in the hole.